Welcome back to the channel. Today, this video is for you if you are someone who has struggled with jumping in to lose weight and going really hard and then burning out and never really getting anywhere. It doesn't have to be all in, massive life changes, balls to the wall, or nothing. So today, what I want to talk you through are 5 smaller changes you can make that when you add them up, make for big results. And they're gonna sound stupidly small at first. That is intentional. I don't want you to burn out again. We need you to try something different. Did you, when you were little, ever save coins as a family? And you'd get some kind of jar. We had this, I don't know, it was like a big empty Coke bottle. And you would put coins in to save for things. And when you were putting in those nickels and you're putting in those dimes and you're putting in those pennies, it's like, it's never gonna get full. We're never gonna go and use this money on the trip or whatever we're gonna buy, right? But eventually that thing is full and you get to go and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Each little thing doesn't seem like much, but they add up over time. That is the approach that we're gonna take here today. Little deposits into your bank account, and then you're gonna reap big rewards eventually. And the thing is, it's not gonna be hard to stick with because they're small changes. So let's get into it. 5 things that are small that you can do to make really big, long-lasting weight loss progress. 100 episodes of the Fitness Simplified podcast. All foods can fit in a weight loss diet. There don't need to be any banned foods. 3 ways you can lose weight this weekend. You've gotta start lifting heavy. The last 2 reps of each set should be hard. What I want you to do with this list of 5 things I give you is to just pick one to start with. I know, you want to jump in with both feet, get all 5 going. That is your old approach, right? We're trying to change that. We're gonna go with one thing at a time. You can either pick the one that feels like the lowest hanging fruit, like I feel like that's fairly easy for me, and kind of get some wins under your belt, or you could pick the one that like, ooh, that's gonna make a big impact to my total calories in bottom line, or calories out bottom line, because I know for a fact I need to make a big change in that area. In the end, what these 5 things are gonna do is help to get your total calories in and calories out in the correct balance. More calories out than calories in. Pick one to start with. Go with that one thing until you can do it for several weeks without it having to take a lot of energy. In the beginning, you're gonna have a lot of thought to get this one thing done, right? It's gonna be more energy, more mental energy, more preparation. Over time, you're not even gonna have to think about it. It's just gonna be a habit you do. It's what you do. It's who you are. At that point, when it feels that stupidly simple, add on the next thing. Let's get into it. Number 1, you're going to eat all food plated and seated. So what this means is that you're not going to be eating out of boxes, packages, and bags. You're not going to be eating in your car or while you're standing at the counter cooking dinner or on the sofa while you're watching television. All food is going to be eaten on a plate or a bowl, if that's the appropriate type of utensil used, and seated at a table. This is going to reduce a lot of mindless calories. Next step, more home-cooked meals, less meals out. It doesn't mean that you can't eat out at all. And frankly, I have plenty of clients who have learned how to eat out to lose weight. What gets in the way for a lot of people is that restaurant meals, whether they're takeout or dine in, have a lot of hidden calories. When you make the swap from being a person who eats a lot of meals out to being a person who eats most of their meals at home, you reduce total calories. So let's have you make that swap. You can start now. If you're a person who typically eats all of their meals out, and I have worked with clients like this, you can pick one meal and say, I now eat that meal at home. I eat all my breakfasts at home. Once you get that going, you can say like, all right, I now pack all my own lunches to take to work. I'm not going and doing the fast food thing for lunch. You don't have to go to a point where you have 100% of your meals home cooked, but we want it to be a high percentage. So maybe 80% home, 20% or less out. Number 3, you're going to trade beverages with calories for 0-calorie drinks. Again, just like with the fast food one, it doesn't have to mean all. It doesn't mean you can't have regular Coca-Cola. It doesn't mean you have to cut out all alcohol. It doesn't mean you can't have juice. It doesn't mean you can't have your specialty coffees with fats and sugars in them. What it means is we want to reduce that. We want to bring that down in the total number of calories that you eat in a day. You can do this in one of 2 ways. You can start swapping out one of those categories. If you're like, you know what, my downfall is that I drink Pepsi and I drink straight Pepsi. I'm not drinking Diet Pepsi. You can then say like, all right, how many Pepsis do I drink in a day? Maybe you drink 4. I'm gonna cut that to 2. Now I'm only gonna have 2 Pepsis in a day. That's movement in a positive direction. What we want to do is have way more 0-calorie beverages than you do beverages with calories. Next up, with your meals, I want you to look at your usual plate that you make yourself at dinner, breakfast, lunch, any of those meals. And then what I want you to do is half your usual starch portion. So we're talking potatoes, rice, pasta, half it. And then I want you to look at your vegetable portion and I want you to double it. Okay, so what we have have done here is we have still given you a lot of volume of food while cutting your total calories. And then bringing it home here, our last small change you're going to make is you're going to swap the amount of processed food you have for the amount of nutrient-dense, minimally processed food that you would like to have in your diet. So we're gonna make, wherever you are on that continuum, we want to push you more towards the side of minimally processed, nutrient-dense food and away from the heavily processed food. Processed food runs on a spectrum. A can of black beans is processed. That's not what we're talking about when we talk about highly processed food. You know, we're talking about the cupcakes, the cookies, the chips, those kinds of things. Those are more highly processed versus things like whey protein powder, which yes, obviously it's been processed. That doesn't grow somewhere. We want more minimally processed foods and non-processed foods. So we do want you eating things like more fruits, vegetables, lean proteins. We want more of that and then more of that minimally processed food. So if right now you're like, I have a diet that's mostly highly processed, I'm at like 90% highly processed and 10% unprocessed, minimally processed, we want you to start flipping that balance. And maybe you're gonna get to 60-40. You know, ideally, we'd love to see you at 80 to 90, I don't know who we is, it's just me. I'd love to see you at 80 to 90% minimally processed food. Thanks so much for being here with me today. If this was useful for you, make sure you leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing with these things. Be sure to subscribe and come back again next week for more videos just like this.